Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Hilaal Live from our Cape Town studios. Jazakallah to Faraz Patel and the Johannesburg team for keeping you company between 6:15 and 7. It's now time for our legal slot, and it's that time of the year where a lot of our matric students are deciding to venture onto their journey into the working world. And I thought, let's chat about the law faculty. So I decided to invite our guest in studio, who's an advocate and also a member of the Legal Practice Council, and also a member of the South African Bar Association, Advocate Yusuf Khan Dalwai. Assalamu alaikum, Advocate.
Walaikum salam, Luqman, to you and your viewers, and thank you for having me this evening.
It's my absolute pleasure. Thanks for making the time to join us in studio.
Only a pleasure.
Such an important topic, and we have a lot of parents and students that are listening to this very important program and are wondering, okay, is law going to be my option? Can I venture down this road, and will this be a sustainable career path for me as well? So for those that are interested in studying law, for those matric students that are interested in studying law, take us through some of the application processes and maybe the admissions into university.
Okay, firstly, you need to determine if that is your potential. And before making application for any admissions into the legal faculty, I always advise matriculants or students to go and shadow at a law office or a firm of attorneys or advocates' chambers, or just go to court and just observe and feel the atmosphere and environment, and ask yourself, is this where you see yourself in the next 8 years?
Right. Because that's how long it's going to take.
Plus minus. Okay. Perhaps if they're still in the matric year or maybe grade 11 or grade 10.
Right.
My daughter Dilbahar has, in grade 10, has showed an interest in law already.
Wow.
So I'm already starting to take her around to our law offices, and I want to also take her to court, just to have a feel for it, and then make the decision. So she has 2 years in which to decide when she reaches matric. So before making that online application to whichever university of your choice, it's important that you go and see what is out there, what it's like out there.
Job shadow, things like that.
Yes, very important, especially in law, because there's a certain acumen you need and a certain personality that you need to be able to work through this system or the legal system.
Because a lot of it, people may think it's very similar to what we find on those Hollywood series on
like
TV,
Suits,
and it's nothing like that.
Boston legal.
There we go.
No,
our legal system is completely different,
yes,
and there's certain etiquette that one needs to follow as well.
Indeed, that is 100% correct. We should, students or learners should not follow the TV and think that is how the legal system is in South Africa. It's totally different. Go and experience it for yourself and observe and identify with your strengths if this is something that you would be keen on doing in the future.
What would be the ideal candidate with regards to one that is wanting to study law? What should they be having in matric as subjects in order to pursue?
It depends which university they're applying to, but commonly you need to have the English as your above 50 or 60%.
Okay.
That's your first or your home language.
Okay.
And then some universities would require an additional subject like history.
Okay.
I don't think maths would be really a requirement.
Right.
But English, your main language, would definitely be a requirement and a good mark in respect thereof. So you must have a matric endorsement. What's it called nowadays? The bachelor.
There we go.
Matric. Yeah.
I still say standard 10.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's how long ago,
yes.
the scholastic environment.
Also work out the standards
right.
From time to time.
Okay.
So yes, that is a requirement. For admissions to any university, you need to have that bachelor's, and then you make your application. Certain universities would require you to take a secondary option.
Okay.
So For example, if you do not get accepted in a certain faculty, what would be your second option?
I got
Right?
you. Right.
So your second option is also very important. Don't take law, for example, as a second option as, okay, let me just take law.
Right.
You know, be certain, because in the event you do get accepted for law, you need to jump into it.
Of course.
And you're going to have to, you know, present yourself in such a way
Right.
that you are able to read a lot. There's a lot of things involved. There's law entails quite a bit. So you're going to need to have that. Right? So
is there an interview process that happens when one is accepted these days to university, or it's just on the application process?
It's mainly on the application process, but it depends on which university you're applying to.
All right.
There may be an interview, an orientation, or you know, something to that effect.
Got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah. Once you've complied with the requirements and you get your acceptance or admissions to the university, then you for away and your journey begins.
Right. Yeah. So I've chosen law. I've been accepted. You know, alhamdulillah. What's my next step? How do I prepare myself on this journey? You know, it's a couple of years of a lot of SWOT work that needs to happen, but also my mindset needs to be prepared.
Yeah, that is very important. Your mindset, you need to be focused. You need to be dynamic. You need to have comprehension, and you need to pay a lot of attention to the data that's been given to you. Your first year, you'll maybe feel, okay, no, it's quite easy, or you know, it's quite straightforward.
Right.
As the years go, you know, it increases. You know, the heat is on.
Gets on, yeah,
and you know, it becomes a little bit more challenging because there's much more to read. Law is about reading a lot, reading cases, reading manuals, reading rules, reading policies, reading bylaws, you know, legislation. That's what it's about. It's a lot of reading. And reading is one thing, and understanding the content is another thing.
Right.
So having that comprehension, you need to be able to, it's not about having a memory skill, for example, a memorization skill.
Because then it's the implementation.
Yeah, it's the implementation, because the idea of law is molding you in such to such an extent that you have the information and education. Now apply it in real life situations. Okay, and that is what your exams are generally about. They are, yes, the legal concepts you will be tested on in every module of your legal educational career. You'll be tested on legal concepts, but the application of the law is fundamental, because you'll have portfolios, you'll have assignments, even exams where you'll have to identify, extract the facts, and then put it to apply the law in that and give a solution to the problem.
Right.
They're not expecting you to be a lawyer or an advocate or an attorney whilst you in your studying phase, but giving you that kickstart in how to start approaching. By the time you're done, you already have that ability,
of course,
and cognitive ability to be able to map out a case and apply the law in respect of,
and look at for the solutions with regards to that particular case.
Yes.
Okay, great stuff.
That is very important, yeah.
Great. We are chatting to Advocate Yusuf Khan Dalwai on our legal slots, which we try to keep on a Tuesday, inshallah. Sorry, on a Wednesday, inshallah. I'm losing track of days because it's a short week this week. All looking forward to the holiday, and it's June 16th as well. After the break, we chat a bit more to Advocate Yusuf about entry into the law faculty. And if you've considered wanting to join, or maybe a child or a family member, ask them to tune in to Hilaal Live TV. Assalamu alaikum, and welcome back to Hilaal Live. It's our legal segment where we're chatting about how one could apply to various universities should you want to follow the legal faculty route as well. In studio is Advocate Yusuf Khan Dalwai, who's given us much needed advice around this. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back again.
Thank you. Wa alaikum salam, Luqman.
So we've chatted about the admissions process. We've chatted about the acumen one needs to have should you want to follow this route. The course itself, we also alluded to, is for a number of years. So you need to prepare for that. Don't book any trip anytime soon, because that's going to be your focus for the next couple of years. Break those years down for us. What will our students be getting themselves into?
Okay, firstly, the qualification that they need to apply for is Bachelor of Laws. That is LLB.
Right.
Alternatively, it's BCom Law.
Okay.
You do a BCom and you do you'll get credits and you do additional, I think, 2 years, and you'll qualify in your LLB. So the program or the course is about 5 years.
Okay.
Okay. So you're signing yourself up to a 5-year program. Okay, like most degrees are 5 years. But if you're wanting to become a lawyer, then you're signing yourself up to at least 7 years.
Right.
Because it's your LLB degree, that's your 5 years at university, and then it's your vocational training, that is your articles that you have to do for a period of 2 years.
Right.
So that is also part of your training in preparation for your admissions as an attorney. Now, you cannot become an attorney without completing your articles, right? So that's very important. So you have to do that 2 years, and you have to also write your admissions exams for the Legal Practice Council.
And then the route candidate attorney, where does that come in?
That is once you've signed up your vocational training or your articles, then you are called a candidate attorney. However, that term is used. That's an old term. The new term is a bit different now. You are candidate legal practitioner.
Gotcha.
In terms of the new act.
Right. And in terms of our scholastic environment, what NQF level does that fall under? I think it's about 7 or 8.
I think I'm speaking under correction, but I'm sure it's NQF 8.
8, I think it is as well. Right. So now you've chosen law. You said, listen, this is what I want to do. But it doesn't always mean that you have to be an attorney.
No.
Okay. Tell us about some of the different avenues that one can expect once you qualify.
Yeah. Look, most of the time, I would say 90% of the time, people that decide to study law or LLB wants to become an attorney or an advocate, right? Or a prosecutor.
Okay.
Right? So already they have to prepare themselves for that additional training post your LLB, right? Now, if life happens, right? For example, you don't get articles.
Of course.
You don't get you don't pass your exams, your admission exams. Something happens, and like I always call it, life happens. Right. And you have your LLB, you qualified in in terms of the qualification of law. You can venture out elsewhere as well, and that is in the business sector. For example, banks, they would require people, candidates with the LLB qualification, but not necessarily admitted as an attorney or an advocate. Clerks of various courts, master's offers. There's various options. You become a case manager, case assessor, risk assessor. There are various options in the legal system that doesn't require you to be admitted, but it just requires that you are qualified and you hold a degree. And that's also a place where you can venture out with your degree. So it's not wasted if you haven't completed your 2 years articles.
Gotcha. And then all too often we do find that there are individuals that leave South Africa and go and live in other parts of the world, maybe move with families, maybe move with spouses, and just would still like to practice and be in the law fraternity. Would they need to write an additional exam, a very special exam in that country that they live in?
Yes, the law aspect is a bit slightly restricted abroad because the law is different. if you're going to work in the business sector, they would just require your qualification.
Okay.
But if you're going to be, if you're wishing to become an attorney or practice as an attorney in another country, you will have to comply with their requirements, or their legal practice council, for example, or their body, the legal body, with additional exams, perhaps, like the admissions exams, similar to the admissions exams, in order for you to practice in that country. For example, you want to go to Europe to become a solicitor or a barrister, you have to, I think it may be another year.
Okay.
I'm speaking under correction. I can find out, but you have to undergo a little bit of training, because the laws. Remember, in South Africa, we're dealing with a hybrid system, a hybrid legal system, right? It's not only the English law,
Right.
Yeah. So if you're going to Europe, if you're going to India, I mean, the English law applies there.
Right.
But in our faculties, we've also included other legal systems as well.
Okay. What are those legal systems, very quickly?
For example, like the customary, traditional law, that makes up the hybrid legal system, because it includes foreign national law, foreign law, English law, Roman Dutch law, customary law. So that's how our constitution was built. Yeah.
So law itself as well can offer various facets that you can venture down as well. So, and you can become one that, would like to specialize in marriages and divorces and things like that. And what are some of the other aspects that you can start?
Once you admitted as an attorney, you would decide whether you want to specialize only in criminal law, for example, or if you only want to focus on civil litigation,
right,
or matrimonial law,
right,
family law, evictions, commercial law. So there's various legal areas in the legal sector that you can actually focus on. Insolvency, so in your period of your articles, you would be exposed to most of those areas. And when you venture off on your own eventually, then you can decide for yourself, okay, I want to focus on insolvency, for example,
right,
or family law, then that's your choice. You can do that. You're not forced to do, because you're an attorney, you must do. Maybe you're not comfortable doing criminal law,
right,
you must do it. You can refer those matters to an attorney or a colleague that is in that space, or you're not forced to do family law matters like divorces because you're not comfortable and you rather want to stay with litigation. That is your choice.
Gotcha.
So you have control over that as a practitioner.
So that journey from once you qualify, you've done your articles, you maybe now done your LLB, and practice. You're practicing, but that journey of building up your own practice, that can take a number of years as well.
Like any business.
Chat to us a little bit about some of the do's and don'ts, and the process of that happening.
Yeah, once you are admitted as an attorney or an advocate, you need to build your practice, right? So there's two ways of doing it. One, you become employed at one of those large firms of attorneys, and you are employed and you earn a salary, or you get promoted somehow, or you come on as an associate, right? Where you share your fees that you write, or you become a partner in a firm, and that's also a little bit more. But not everybody goes that route or gets that opportunity or has that opportunity presenting itself to them, and they are forced to now open up their own firm, right? So like any other business, you got to put yourself out there, you got to market, advertise, network. It's not overnight you're now qualified, you've done this 8-year program or 7-year program, and all of a sudden you're going to be earning 50,000 a month.
Right, yeah. It's highly unlikely that's going to happen from day one.
From day one, yeah. You have to build. You're going to probably start earning 5,000 rand.
Sure.
And then you're going to build, and next month you're going to earn 6,000. And that's how you're building your practice.
Right.
Some people have the business acumen for it. They are entrepreneurs. They can do it. Some don't.
Does
Right?
the law, when you study law, does any element of that come into play? The business side of things as well?
I'm not sure if they've
Maybe incorporated it now.
currently,
Okay.
if any business practice management is in there, but in your practical legal training that you have to do during your period of articles of clerkship, they do touch on that as well. Yeah.
Is the industry saturated, or is there a need for more lawyers to come into our system?
Difficult to answer. However, my observation is that there are 2 sittings for the admission exams per year, right? Two sittings. Now, each sitting has an average of 300 students or 300 candidate attorneys writing this exam.
Right.
So we're looking at about 600 candidates passing their admission exams for the year in Western Cape.
Wow.
I'm not even speaking other provinces.
Rest of the country.
In Western Cape only. So there's about 600. There's admissions the first Friday of every month at the High Court. Candidate attorneys are being admitted as attorneys, an average of 40 to 50 on a month. And that's besides the others during the course of the month, here and there you do get a few. So you can do the maths yourself. I'm not going to make the statement that it's oversaturated or undersaturated, but we can see what is happening in our economy, and we can see the challenges some of the candidate legal practitioners are facing in securing articles. Before you are able to earn a substantial amount during that period of time, these candidate attorneys are so desperate that they even prepare to do it at no cost, free.
Wow.
Just to get the time going. So it is a great challenge. And I do feel the legal system, various bodies need to provide consider the amount of graduates. They need to accommodate. There must be a way to be able to accommodate those graduates into this vocational training.
Of course. Advocate Yusuf Khan Dalwai, it's been an absolute pleasure. We look forward to our next segment where we cover various other topics as well. Have a lovely evening.
Thank you very much. Walaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
And that's where we leave it on our legal slot. Do join us next Wednesday for another edition of our legal slot. And inshallah, you could also be part of that. Jazakallah to our team in Johannesburg, Faraz Patel, and our technical team, as well as Sohail Barnes. And for myself, Luqman Shadrack, in Cape Town, we wish you a warm Assalamu Alaikum.